Hello friends. Well, wow. I was about to just do a live on Instagram like I always do, and I was welcomed with my Instagram live option missing. And I googled it, and it sounds like Instagram has done something stupid and has made it that you have to have 1,000 followers to go live. So, and I can't do YouTube because YouTube requires you to give it 24-hour notice. So my last option was Twitter. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I had a very important mission tonight. I was going to pop in and out to show the position of the lunar eclipse tonight. The blood moon, Scorpio going into Pisces. So yeah, I've wasted a bit of time already. It's probably started now, the partial eclipse. Hang on, let me see. Oh yes, you can see it's starting to go black. Hang on, let me change the camera. Oh gosh, never gonna do it justice, is it? This camera, but you can sort of see. If you see the outline of it, you can see that it's starting to get covered on the right there. Yeah, so that's the start. Now, here on Twitter, since I'm on Twitter, I'm not sure if I should do my reading or not, to be honest. You know how toxic this app can be. Oh look, I read about the eclipse, and I happen to be Scorpio, so it said that it was going to be big for creativeness and strong intuition and other things that I can't remember off the top of my head. So maybe I'll try it. Maybe I'll try being live on Twitter for once. I suppose it's going to show me who's following me, isn't it? Because if I get a lot of bad feedback, well then I know that there's a lot of haters following me, don't I? Anyway. So today I was going to do the September reading, Lenormand reading that I normally do for mewsuppasit and gulfkanawut. So shall I still do it? Well, why not? So the full eclipse starts in an hour, so let's see, it's 2:34 here, so I'll pop out there. I'll pop out there when it's possibly close to the time, and we can see if the moon is blood red as it's supposed to be later on. Anyway, for now. So I always start these readings, if you're new to my readings because you haven't been following me on Instagram, I always start these readings by telling you what my prediction was that I wrote based on what they call an astro clock reading back on the 22nd of March this year. So for that one, for September, starting with mewsuppasit, his three cards were Lily, Clover, and Book. So what I got from that, and before I say it, yes, I think you know, I might change my outlook on the matter a little bit now, but let me just read what I predicted anyway. If Mew has been making strong decisions and possibly been in isolation on the previous month, tell you what the previous month was if I could. I think this is right. The Mountain, Scythe and Tower were the previous month. So Mountain, Scythe and Tower, a very cutting decision was made last month by Mew. Who knows if it was done in the public eye or in private, but yeah, so if Mew has been making strong decisions, such as cutting decisions with the scythe, and possibly been in isolation on the previous month, because isolation can be followed by the tower. The tower can point to being isolated. This month was going to be about coming out of that state with a newfound wisdom, maturity, which can be seen by the lily and clover. Some luck and possibly opportunity on his side, and hidden information that is yet to be revealed, which is the clover and the book. He has been very, what's the word, with his interviews, including the latest one, he has been very, talking like it's not what is going on in his life in 3D right now, if that makes sense. He's been talking like a single man who has many ambitions yet to accomplish, compared to talking like a married taken man like he was a few months back, or was it a few months back, or is it longer than that? I don't know. But yeah, it's a little bit different. So it is already starting to fit, I think, just reading that. Anyway, and the lily and book combo gives the vibe of someone less experienced and teaching them or showing them how to deal with a certain situation. Could be Gulf. I said this. Could be Gulf, as his prediction wasn't so positive this month. We'll get into that later. But basically what I was saying was there could be a moment of temptation this month for both Mew and Gulf. They could fall right into it, and it could be not so much a bad temptation. It just could be damn this, I'm done. Let's just do whatever, or something like that. Or it could be Gulf. It could be Mew showing Gulf how to deal with the press in a more, what's the word, mature way, possibly like it's what he wasn't doing before. Like months ago, he wasn't being very mature about what he was saying, or careful about what he was saying to the press, which is what got him into the whole mess in the first place, you could say. And now he might be proving to Gulf that he can do it. Possibly, because it's possible, if you look at the idea that they could be still secretly together, and they could be wanting to do what he's proposing to do with Tool, with Gulf, then maybe Gulf needs to see proof that Mew can handle this kind of secret relationship, and without spilling again, something like that perhaps. Yeah, I'm just thinking out loud here. Also, just mind me today, because one thing about doing a reading during a lunar eclipse is many readers say that you will be a little bit spaced, inconsistent. You might feel a little bit, I can't even remember the word that they use to describe it, but you're not going to be as clear as maybe you normally are. So if I do sound like I'm getting stuck, or I come to a halt because I can't explain it, that would be why, the lunar eclipse. Anyway, let's see how we go, because that was for tarot readers. I'm actually doing the Norman cards at least first, so we'll see how it affects that. Alright, so that was the prediction that I wrote on the 22nd of March, or I didn't write it then, but that's when I drew the cards. That's when I did the prediction for mewsuppasit. When would I actually have written it? I think I had all the months pretty much written and journaled down by mid-April, I think. So yeah, still, it's not like I just wrote this yesterday or anything. I still couldn't have known exactly what was coming in this month by any, you know, permanent idea. So yeah, that's what I predicted, and I was able to fit it to the situation right now, so that's a good sign. And we'll see how we go with Gulf later. Now, for Mew, getting on with Mew. So the next thing I do, if you are familiar with my readings, is I pull 9 Lenormand cards and do a box card reading called a portrait. Now, so this is for mewsuppasit. What does the month of September have in store for mewsuppasit? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What does the month of what does the month of September have in store for mewsuppasit? Am I still live? I don't know this yes, you are now live. Okay, just making sure, because I've never done a live on Twitter before. All right. Okay, so here we go. Interesting. So the first card that came, what am I doing? I'm not even supposed to look at the card straight away, but funnily enough, when I did look at the card, the card that comes out is the moon, and it's the lunar eclipse today. How interesting. That's very fitting. All right, so this is almost like I'm doing a lunar reading. In fact, I did look into doing a lunar reading and how you do it, and basically it's just it's 5 cards and you ask the questions. So I suppose that this can cover that too now with the moon in the middle. So all right, so this is about what Mew is going into the eclipse, what Mew is going to transform into during the lunar month, what the outcome will be, what he needs to know about this lunar month, and what he needs to do during this lunar month. So all those 5 questions will probably be covered in this reading because of this card. Anyway, so that was the center card. All right, and I will put the other cards down without looking at them now. All right, so that's the center card. Then we do the cross of destiny, destiny cross, fill in the corners. All right, that's our 9 cards. So, of course, we already know the moon is in the middle. How fitting. Now, if not for the lunar eclipse today, the moon card also points to intuition. It can also point to reputation, or how you are known, or the way people see you on the outside. And it can also point to inner feelings. So it's a very deep card. So that's interesting. All right, so we got the moon in the middle. Let's see what the cover card, as we call the first card. Let's see what the cover card is for Mew this month. Oh, interesting. So the cover card, very similar to last month, I think, if I remember right. So we have the whip and broom. Repetitive patterns, or returning to something or someone from the past, or being continuous and persistent with something. All 3 meanings it can have, depends on the cards surrounding it. With the moon involved, sounds very emotional, something that he is continuing to do or returning to with a lot of emotion. And what about this last card, which this last card down here is basically what everything will result in. It's like the result of all these cards. All these cards go into this last card. So let's see what this card is. Oh, it's upside down. There's no upside down in Lenormand. The anchor, well, that's a very promising card to have for a what do you call it, conclusion card. We have the anchor. So the anchor symbolizes stability, although it can also symbolize being stuck or being held back, but most of the time it would have a more positive meaning, such as stability. So yeah, that's a good sign. So just with those three cards already, we can see that something he's very emotional about, or something he is very well known for, he is going to continue or return to, and it's going to bring stability into his life. Or the opposite, it's going to keep him stuck. Now, I think you can already kind of figure out the two possibilities of that conclusion right there. So he's either going to return to something or someone who really brought stability into his life in the past and will again, or he's going to return to something or someone that he is very deeply emotional about that will also bring stability into his life, or he is going to continue with just what he's known for, what he's going to continue putting his fame first, or I suppose you could even say he's going to continue saving face by not being completely honest with the world about how things are, and this is going to keep him stuck in the situation he's in. Now, I'm not just saying that, because many readings have shown us that he has, if you are familiar with tarot, you would know that the Eight of Swords, and the woman has a blindfold on, is feeling stuck, almost like victimized. That card has come out a lot from you in the past. There's also the Two of Swords with a blindfold on, having this decision, always going back and forth on this decision that they have to make. And yeah, other cards that I can't think of off the top of my head, but other cards that basically symbolize you feeling stuck and having no choice about the matter. So it could be that as well. But let's see what the other cards are. So we always do the four corners first. So we've already done the cover card, we've already done the conclusion card. Now let's see what the other two corner cards are. Well, up here we have the cross. Now the cross can symbolize either burden, like carrying your own cross or having your own cross to bear, or it can mean fate and destiny. It depends what the cards are surrounding it. It always does with these cards, but it can mean either of those depending on the whole picture. And the other card, oh no, that's something I didn't want to say, although it is on the past column. If you're familiar with my readings, we do past, present, future, or earlier month, mid-month, later in the month. So having the column in the earlier section or the past section is a good sign, because if this is about him still being confused or uncertain, or even, head up in the clouds about something, then it looks like he's going to get over it if it's in the past area. So that's good. And what about the other four cards? So the Divine Cross. So this is like the outlook of everything, sort of the frame of the picture. This is what it's all about. And then these four cards in the middle are what happens, what's on his mind, hidden influences, what he was thinking, and what he's thinking now. They're that's sort of what the four cards will cover now. So top card, what's on his mind? We have the letter. Now the letter can be about a contract. The letter can be about a formal agreement. The letter can be about a hidden conversation. So there's a few possibilities there. Yes, so that's interesting. Looking at it along with the whip and broom and the cross, it's in the same line as those. yeah, it could be either returning to something or someone with a contract is what is meant for him, is fate or destiny, written in the stars. You know who I'm talking about. Or it could be the other way around. It could be that him continuing to have this agreement with someone or something, being under contract about something, is still his cross to bear. Could be either of those. Alright, how about this card here? So this is in the past column section. We have ship. Ship. Now ship usually points to travel, but it can also point to longing. If you happen to be separated from your loved one, it can be longing. And it's a movement card, so it's like a transition somewhere as well. So that's interesting. Also in line with the moon there too. That's interesting. That can mean that his feelings about something have possibly changed or moved on. And also that's in the same column as clouds and whip. Now one thing I didn't, before I go on, one thing I didn't mention about the whip and broom is this can also point to abuse or hardship. So there's that as well, that aspect of it. Not a positive aspect, but it can. Alright, so on this side we have Lily. So Lily, Clover, and books. So we've had Lily so far out of the Astro cards. That's interesting. So Lily points to maturity, wisdom. It can also point to elderly relative or parents, grandparents, etc. Or even looking to someone for guidance who is older and wiser, it can also point to. It can also be a career card, career focused card as well. So that's interesting. And the last card, the market card. So work, basically. Work, stock markets. He's a businessman right now. I mean, in his last interview, he just said that he's a young person of many talents, and he's a this, he's a that, and he mentioned all his business matters, being a clinic partner, owning a cafe, being a singer, an actor, having other things open. He's the CEO of other companies, I believe. So this is very fitting. So that's the work card right there. Wow, okay. Interesting. Now, usually I will put the cards up behind me for a better visual experience for my viewers. So I will do that quickly. Yes, what time is it? Oh, I still got miles at time. If I could take you out and do this at the same time, I would, and go and see where the moon is right now. It's probably about halfway. Maybe we'll do it in a minute. Let me just pull out the cards we need here first. Moon. What a beautiful moon card. That's going to be very nice. Really. That's amazing though, getting the moon card on the lunar eclipse night. Very fitting indeed. Let's see. If I could do this any quicker, would be nice. There's the whip. Let's see how we go on getting this video copied and put on YouTube too. We'll see how we go with that. if my haters had their way, they would probably have this video banned and I won't even be able to get a copy of it. So if you're watching me right now, it might even be worth starting to record the screen, just saying. Alright, so fridge behind me, so ship is, hang on, where are we, down there, clouds there. I just realized I didn't have the Astro cards up first either. Usually I have the Astro 3 up above this. Maybe I'll do that too when I finish here. There's the moon in the middle in all its glory there. Anchor, cross, and market. There we go. And what were the lily, clover, and book? So I'll need to get the other lily out for that. Maybe I'll just, if I just get the clover and book out for now. There. Give it a bit of a gap because it's not part of the reading. We know lily goes up there. Alright, now, yeah, let's go see what's happening with the eclipse quickly, and then I'll come back and explain more about the cards. Oh yes, it's halfway, guys. Look, I'm so lucky having it right here so I can just step out of the door and capture it like this. Of course my camera doesn't do it much justice, but it's funny, I thought I could zoom in more than that before. Oh, there we go. Slow. Here it is. Can we get a bit more of a... It doesn't look like half because it's glaring so much, but that is the moon right now is actually past halfway already. Anyway, I think the big thing will be if we can get a capture of the red moon. If it comes up showing red, that will be the sight to see for sure. Okay, let me plug my phone in just in case. I don't want to run out of battery unexpectedly. Put you up there. Alright, can you see that, guys? Hang on a little bit more, there we go. Alright, so So, moving on with our reading for mewsuppasit. So we have in the past or earlier month column. Hang on, let me just cover the door a little bit. Yeah, that'll do. Okay. Sorry, guys. So yes, in the past or earlier in the month, we have whip, ship, clouds. Now, this, I'll have to admit, because ship usually points to travel, the first thing that comes to mind is continuing to do travel vlogs, uncertain, not sure about it. That's what it looks like to me. Continuing to travel for work as well, continuing to travel for work, he's not so sure about anymore. Because as he admitted in one of his latest interviews, their vlogs are sponsored by a travel agent. So it's work. All this luxury travel that we've been seeing over the last 2 or 3 years, it's all been for work. He's under some kind of contract, whether the shippers want to admit that or not. So it looks like he might be thinking of maybe pulling the plug on that contract. Maybe he's thinking about it. He's definitely in deep thought about it. If we go to this card, he could be in deep thought about whether he's going to continue doing the travel vlogs, obviously with Tool, past the contract end date, perhaps. And yeah, that's interesting. Or if we go to another possible meaning of the cards, as I said earlier, the whip can be abuse or hardship. It could be that maybe it's been taking a toll on him, all the travel he's been doing, maybe it's been taking its toll on him, and he's starting to wonder about that. Or maybe he's starting to wonder about moving on from something or someone, or maybe he's starting to find the distance between him and someone else very hard. So there's a few different meanings that could be. And then it's also leaving him confused or uncertain, or very vague about what his situation is regarding whatever this ship is symbolizing here. So that's interesting. Moving on to current or mid-month, we have letter, moon, market or work. So that's pretty straightforward right there. In this case, something tells me that the moon may not be emotional in that line of cards. It could be that the moon takes more of a fame, reputation, what he's known for angle. So this could be, since this is also, as we'll get to it later, this is the line of what's on his mind. So he's thinking about his contract for work. He's thinking about his contract for work, which would also agree with what we just said about this. Contract for work of travel. He's thinking very deeply about that, whether he wants to continue that. Or, if not continue, why is it so hard? Why is it bringing so much hardship? Why is it taking its toll on him? Is it worth continuing? All those things he's thinking about regarding whatever this contract is. And since the ship is here, it does definitely make me think travel vlogs, but it could be other things that he is contracted to do in his work as well. Who knows? It could even be that in his contract he is told to keep distance with someone and he wants to put that to a stop. Could be that. Anyway, yeah, I've pretty much said it all. I've covered it all there, what I can get straight off, because the cards can only mean certain things, and just altogether, the first thing that comes to mind is usually the right one. But of course, with my other readings, I will be looking back on it all and seeing if there was anything I may have missed later on. Moving on for now to the future, or later in the month. A reminder, this is for September. This is for this month, okay? So we really don't know. We really don't know what's happening. I mean, current and past we can sort of play on with what we already know, a bit of knowledge. Future, not so much. We can predict what's going to happen based on these, but do we really know for sure? No. So, and it can change too. So, whatever you conclude from this video, please take it with a grain of salt. Anyway, so in the future column, or the later in the month, we have cross, lily, anchor. Like I said, all these cards can have positive or negative meanings, or even neutral meanings, depends. So cross, lily, anchor. To me, this is a little bit harder for me to gauge what it could mean straight away. I'm thinking two things, mainly because of this card being either fate and destiny or burden. really kind of changes the whole column with those two aspects. So if we go for the fate and destiny suggestion, it would mean that Mew is possibly starting to connect with his inner emotion about what is his fate and destiny, what is meant for him. He could be starting to look at it in a more mature angle, because if we think about what's happening or what we think is happening, it's possible he's been running away from that up to now. So it could be that he is starting to see things from a different light, from a bit more of a wise angle. And that is going to stabilize his life. And this could be just, you know, becoming like what he said in the interview last night. He said, he was asked, what advice can you give people? And he said something along the lines of, based on the translations I've already seen, if you put all your happiness into one person and then that person disappears, you're not going to be happy. So you need to be happy with yourself. Beautiful, beautiful words and advice. My only hope is that he is following that himself. And this I say, like, because of the clouds. Because of the clouds, he could still be in a confused, what do you call it? What am I pointing down here for? It's up here. He could still be in a bit of a no man's land mindset. He may not be as clear on his intuitions as he puts out there. But what I hope is that it's at least an ambition of his to get to that stage where he can be happy with himself without clinging on to another person or thinking that he has to rely on another person to be happy. And this goes back into things we've said many times in the past about him needing to be alone first. You know, since his burnout time and now, he has not been alone. Okay, sure, he had his, you know, they were long distance relationship, possibly, if they're real, but he was never really alone, because he still had that person, even on the other side of the world. He still had that person in his corner who was he was relying on, he was dependent on, basically, for a while there. And, you know, even that impulsive proposal that he made before he went into ordination, he's still got abandonment issues, people. He's still got abandonment issues. He may talk very wisely when he's on his own and when he's asked to, but is he actually following those words himself? Well, we don't really know, because we're not inside his head. But from the outside looking in, and, you know, based on all the things going on in his life right now, all the impulsive actions still happening, all the just in a nutshell, he still seems to have abandonment issues, and that's why he keeps doing whatever this is, or he is looking at returning to something. So it's possible that he is gaining wisdom and maturity, though. He's starting to go through his growth, his emotional growth. He's starting to go through an emotional growth this month, which is good. That's good, because yes, it may sound silly to some people, but Mew still has a lot of growing up to do in regards to emotional wellness and you know, self-love, etc. He may speak it very nicely to other people, and other people may, you know, really benefit from that, but he may not be following it himself, really, deep down I'm talking. He may appear to be, but many readings in the past have shown us that he's kind of wearing a mask, and he could be very sad behind that mask too. So yes, my hope is that he is finally starting to sort of come to with his feelings. He's starting to address his inner conflict, and that is going to stabilize his life. Now the other way round, if this is in not fate and destiny but rather the burden, then that's what I just said, basically. It means that his immaturity about his deep inner feelings is what's keeping him stuck. His abandonment issues, his codependency on someone, and yeah, just being scared to be alone, basically, is keeping him stuck in his situation right now. So it can be either way. Both ways fit quite nicely too. Moving on to horizontal lines. So up here we have on his mind, we have whip, letter, cross. Again, the cross could be either. So we have repetitive patterns, continuing something, returning to something or someone, under contract, could be a burden, or could be fate and destiny. This letter could also, if we stop thinking about it as a contract, it could also just be a private conversation. So it could be him returning to talking to someone in private, could be fate and destiny, or could be putting a burden on his current life as well. Reality is the middle line here. We have ship, moon, lily. To me, that kind of points to that boat has sailed. He's starting to think, he's starting to transition to a more emotionally aware stage. And like I just went through, he's going to gain emotional growth through this transition. Could be that, or it could be, if we go back to this being travel, it could be he's thinking deeply about the travel vlogs and he's trying to be mature about it. He's trying to appear mature on his travel vlogs, even possibly. Like, have you noticed how there's very little to no attempts of what they would call fan service, or showing of affection, if you don't want to use that term. There's very little of it. It's kind of gone back to what it started as, which was the bro vibes, you know, just best bros, travel buddies, talking history and being informative about their surroundings of everywhere they go. It's kind of returned to that sort of state now. It's not so hard for people to watch who don't want to see the fake connection, or if it's not fake, just the uncomfortable, the uneasiness of how Mew seems to be when he's with that person. And hidden influences, we have clouds, market, anchor. So hidden influences are he's confused, he's still uncertain, or if we go back to this, it could be that he's still not straight about his own feelings. You know, he still hasn't addressed his real deep inner feelings, his intuition, that intuition that keeps knocking on the door, that he possibly keeps ignoring. You know, the signs from the universe and all that keep happening despite everything. These clouds could be the reason why he is still ignoring that deep inner feeling that something needs to be addressed, or something needs to change, or his fate and destiny as well, because that's in line if you go diagonally. See, he's confused about his deep inner feelings about what his fate and destiny is. Can also be like that, read that way. But clouds, market, anchor, so it also involves work, obviously, here. It involves work, and anchor, stability or being held back. So both ways that could fit. He is unsure about the work he's doing right now, and that is holding him back from making a strong, sharp decision, possibly the
possibly the same one that he was meant to make last month but has been postponed perhaps because of work obligations, more travel vlogs being made, could be something like that. And that is still holding him back or making him remain stagnant in his situation right now. Or it could be the other way around. He is confused or uncertain, but somehow he is going to persevere with his work, and through his work he is going to remain stable. That's kind of the only other thing I can think of right now for those cards. Excuse me. So also if we do the T's, which is for those who aren't familiar with that, drawing a T with the cards. So this whip, letter, cross, moon, market, it's definitely something to do with work. With this card here, there's no mistaking it. Something to do with work. Something to do with a contract. This is why I really have this strong feeling that this letter is more about a contract than a private conversation. But of course, if a contract does happen to have the aspect of not allowed to talk to someone or meet up with someone or cross each other's paths in a contract, then that could also be covered by that aspect. So there's that. And this way too, clouds, market, anchor, moon, contract. Very confused and feelings, deep thinking about a contract or about a conversation he's had with someone regarding a contract or regarding a working situation even. So that could even cover, if you go back to the idea of MewGulf, that could even cover him talking to Gulf again and possibly being uncertain about, what happened back when they were working together and, having a deep conversation about real feelings, how they both feel, etc. with that. The side T's, we have whip, ship, clouds, moon, lily. Again, if he's going to continue these travel vlogs, he needs to get his head out of the clouds and be more emotionally mature about things. That's one way to put it. Or if he is going to persevere even with these travel vlogs, you could say. Or if he is going to return to something or someone and transition his emotional growth, transition through an emotional growth, he needs to get his head out of the clouds. That kind of, he needs to get his head out of the clouds is the words that come to me instead of uncertain or confused. Because I seem to come to the conclusion here with this card that Mew knows. He's not confused or uncertain about what he has to do for his emotional well-being. He knows, but he is either deliberately ignoring his inner conflict about a matter, or he is not able to do the inner work. He hasn't been able to find the time to really sit down and meditate and really focus on himself without all the distractions of life that's going on right now with all these new business schemes and everything, or having somebody whispering or saying something in his ear during these times. So he hasn't really had the opportunity to go deep within and do all the shadow work that he may need to do to come out wiser and more mature, having a more mature aspect over everything. And then this way, cross, lily, anchor, moon, ship. So it is fate and destiny that he needs to do this emotional growth, and this is going to stabilize him moving forward and help him with this transition, which the transition could even be, moving on from someone, leaving a ship let's even say, ghost ship or real. Or it could be that he is burdened by this emotional growth that he still has to do, and that is what's keeping him stuck or stagnant and not able to change direction with this ship. Two possibilities there. What else? This, what we call knighting, which is like in an L shape, or if you are familiar with chess, the knight piece moves 3 down and 1 up, or 1 down, depending where you are on the board. So if we knight the whip with the market, it seems whatever it is that he is either continuing, returning to, or struggling with, it's all about work. All about work here. Also this, we see the cross is knighted with the market card as well. So whatever is being a burden to him is about work, or whatever is meant for him, fate and destiny, is hidden in work. And saying that could be like, since this is also knighted with it, it could be returning to something or someone he did in the past or worked with in the past. Could be destiny. Something like that, which really fits in with the idea that MewGulf will have a reunion one day, whether it be for work, for personal life, for becoming a real couple, or for even just coming out and being friends. It seems to point to that being a very big possibility in the future. But it can't happen until Mew addresses this emotional growth, which he can only do when he's alone. Doesn't matter whether he's really in love with Tull or not. He needs to go solo for a little while and really go deep down within himself, shut the world out, and really find out, what he feels deep down, when there's no one there whispering in his ear, when there's no temptations of being able to get easy money if you say this or you do that, things like that. He really does need to do the shadow work before he can be successful in any relationship, let's say, because right now he is still here. He's feeling anchored, and this can either be stability or feeling stuck. Now, with everything we've said, I still think it could be both, but not without changing the meaning of all the cards. So you either have the positive or the negative aspect of this whole spread. And because it's to do with work, I don't know. I'm more drawn to thinking that this card is saying that he's stagnant. He's stuck. More than being stable. It feels more like he is stuck, or he is he's at a crossroads. That's come up in a lot of readings recently too, that he is at a crossroads in life where he is going back and forth on a decision, like the Two of Swords we mentioned before, going back and forth on a decision constantly that he can't make up his mind on because he's uncertain, or he's unsure about taking that leap of faith towards his real intuition and deep inner feelings about what is his fate and destiny. Always seems to come back to that, no matter what cards are here. It always seems to come back to that sort of conclusion line. Anyway, what else can we do knighting wise? We did those. Here we have the letter up here. Letter is also knighted with clouds. He's unsure about this contract he's under, or this conversation that he's had with someone, a private conversation he's had with someone about work, and this is keeping him stagnant or keeping him stuck. Also, see? This is what is tethering him to the situation he is in currently. So yeah, again, I don't think it's stability. I don't think it's stability. Then we have cross-knighted with ship, fate and destiny, this transition he needs to make, or this change he needs to make, fate and destiny. We were talking last month, it was all about changes. So this ship could be the transition after the change. Ship and anchor. Again, see, the ship, this transition, is stuck, anchored. When a ship is anchored, it's not going anywhere. Makes perfect sense, doesn't it? So again, the idea that I said, this is not about stability at all. This is about being stuck, remaining stuck in a situation. And anything else? Did I do that one already? No, I did ship. So clouds to lily and whip to lily. So returning to something old in the past, basically. Returning to something old. His feelings about returning to something old, which this could be even, if we think old, it's kind of contradictory, but it could be referring to like his inner child, like returning to the emotions he felt way back in the day, back in his childhood, and addressing those inner conflicts with his inner child. It could be something like that, because his inner child could bring the wisdom and maturity that he needs to stabilize himself. Or it could be continuing to struggle through this transition. It could also be that he is continuing to struggle to get to this transition, to this shadow work that needs to be done. Continuing to put it off even, could be that. And clouds, he's confused about it, so he continues to put it off because he's confused or uncertain about it. Again, really does match up with everything I've been saying. And if we come up here to this clover and book, clover can be like a little bit of luck, literally a little bit of luck, 4-leaf clover. Let's have a look. Well, certainly not what I can see because it's black. I can't even see it. Cannot even see it. Oh, what a shame. I was so looking forward to possibly seeing a red moon, but no. From where I am, it's just black. You can't even see the moon out there. I don't have to point the camera at it because you can't see anything. It's like I know the moon is still in the same position there, or I even looked slightly to the side in case it had moved, but no, completely black. It's like moonless out there right now. So, yeah, in another half an hour we'll go back out. And, whoops, I put the other way around, sorry. In another half an hour we'll go back out and see if it's come back, if the moon has magically returned in appearance. And just talking about the moon right now, so yeah, the moon can't even be seen right now. That can also be added to what I'm saying about Mew. He keeps putting it off. He keeps putting this inner shadow work off because he's confused, or maybe he can't see a way to do it. He can't see a way forward. He can't see a way to even transition towards doing this, because now he is so stuck between a rock and a hard place, you could say, because of this contract he is under with work, with all the obligations he has for work now with different people, and also with, you know, his travel buddy, his business partner and all that as well. He's got a lot of pressure on him. So it could be that too. Now, I was talking about the clover, wasn't I? So yeah, a little bit of luck. It can also be like, what's the word? I can't think of it right now, but it's like very lucky opportunities. And book is either knowledge, secrets, or the unknown. So it could be that he will be lucky this month to possibly go deep within at some point and really address his inner feelings about the unknown. Just to connect all those cards. Possibly that. Also, Lily up here. So, yeah. Even just by that connection on its own, the lily. The lily could be all about this. So when he does finally transition to giving himself more love and more understanding and really listening to the inner child and listening to himself and his intuition and his inner conflicts, you know, getting his head out of the clouds and really meditating on what is right for him up here, then and only then will fate and destiny be able to put him back in alignment, let's say, and will he be lucky to address these secrets or the unknown. You know, he'll be lucky to have a way moving forward with those feelings. Yeah, I think that's pretty much covered this spread. Okay, so I'm going to leave that up there and we'll move on to Gulf. So let me get these cards too. It says I've got 81 people watching me. I don't see any comments. Not sure if that's because you can't or because you're not sure what to say or you don't speak English, not sure. But thank you. Thank you for giving me your time, whoever you are. Alright, so give these a bit of a little shuffle. Alright, little deck. That's the name of my cards here, little deck. Let's move on to Gulf's reading. Now, before I draw the cards, I'll come back to the prediction. So, like I predicted for Mew, I also predicted for Gulf. And if you remember in what I read about Mew, I said it could be Gulf as his prediction wasn't so positive this month. So his Astro cards, which were drawn on the 22nd of March this year, were Coffin, Snake, Bear. Yes, doesn't sound very nice, does it? But there are positive aspects to these cards as well. So here's what I wrote. In this month, Gulf looks like he suffers a loss, which is Coffin, or gets caught up with bad company, Snake, or falls into temptation. That can also be Snake, Bear together. The result being he could have a disagreement with his parents or managements, or possibly decide to leave or exit certain contracts, agreements that may even end his current lifestyle as he knows it. And that was Coffin and Bear together. So Coffin and Bear is really about, what's the word, putting a stop to something to protect yourself, protect someone, or because you are in conflict with someone higher than you, someone who is overpowering you. You put a stop to that. And that's where a Coffin Snake will come in here as a result of declining something or someone in his workplace that would go against his morals or a promise he made to someone possibly very recently after an enjoyable time together, which is coffin snake. So coffin snake is basically saying no to temptation or no to cheating, more or less. As I say, basically declining the chance to be unfaithful. They're the words I put down. A little bit more nice sounding, poetic words. Or it could also mean giving up on your desires or ambitions too. So then going back to what I said earlier about deciding to leave or exit certain contracts, agreements, that could be part of giving up on desires or ambitions. Now, from what I can tell, just from what I've written here, I'm pretty sure that my intuition back then was that it was about work. Similar to Mew, actually. As you can see, he got the market card. But we'll see if his is also emotionally based, similar to Mew. Although I do think that Gulf is possibly a little bit further along on the journey of spiritual and emotional maturity than Mew is. Let's just say that, because he seems to be happy all the time. He seems to have already found his happiness in himself. He's happy to be single. He's been happy to be single for a very long time. So possibly that helps him be a little bit ahead of Mew with the emotional stability side of things. Anyway, let's see what else these cards are going to bring. Actually, let me get the 3 cards out now, so I don't have to do it later. So we're looking for coffin, snake, and bear. There's snake, there's coffin, and bear. There it is. I am going to have to get the second lot out after this, because, yeah, we are using the cards. Anyway, for now, I'll leave it there. All right, so let's do the same as we did for Mew. We draw 9 cards, which makes a monthly portrait spread. So, little deck, what is in store this month of September? Oh goodness, for Gulfkanawut. Now, a card just flipped. Oh, interesting. So, the card that flipped is the Stork, which is all about change. It was all about change last month. Looks like it still is. It's all about change, and this could be either the change that comes after, or the transition. So that's interesting, and very fitting also for the moon, because if you remember, I mentioned earlier, if you've been here since the beginning, I said that the Scorpio moon is all about change, creativity, really going deep within and connecting with oneself, becoming passionate about things coming clearer, like suddenly seeing things clearer. So yes, that's very fitting for this moon. All right, so that couldn't wait to come out, that card. Very nice, very nice. Okay, so let's draw the other 8 cards. Now, little deck, please try and control yourself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so what does the month of September have in store for Gulfkanawut? Let's see. So we do like we did for Mew, the Cross of Destiny. Fill in the corners. And there we go. We've got 9 cards. All right, so what do we have to work with here? So we've already covered the stalk in the middle. That is the center of the situation. Now, what is the cover card up here? Ah, would you look at that? Anchor. Now, Gulf had this last month as well. Gulf's first card, literally last month in the reading for August, which I'm sorry I haven't got it up yet. I'm still editing it, but the first card was an anchor. And last month we concluded that it was the starting point. He was pulling up his anchor and going for gold, sort of thing. So interesting that comes up again. I wonder if he's still doing that or if he's about to lower his anchor again because he's reached somewhere. He's reached what he was aiming for. We'll find out. All right, so that's anchor, and what's the conclusion card? Ah, the conclusion card is the letter. Same as what Mew had. Interesting. Conclusion card is the letter, although it's only really a coincidence at this stage because that card could mean practically anything regarding Gulf, since he has so much work at the moment. He's under contract with so many different companies, different brands. He just joined Ferrari as well. Congratulations to him. So yes, that letter could mean anything at this stage. So yes, interesting. But if you put it in line with the other two cards, we have anchor, stalk, letter. He is pulling up his anchor and moving towards better horizons, or in a transition towards better horizons regarding this letter, whether it be a contract for work or whether it be maybe a private communication or a private conversation with someone. Returning to that could be any of those at this stage. All right, and what about these other corner cards? Let's frame this stalk properly. We have tree. Tree can be growth, grow as we go, always comes to mind. It can also point to family, ancestry, or roots as well, like having deep roots in something. And the other corner card, okay, that's interesting. So the last corner card is the incense burner, which is all about cleansing or clearing one's life of something or someone. So that in line with the tree and the stalk, the tree can also point to, I should mention, the tree can also point to long-lasting or endurance. So it could be that he is in a waiting period or enduring time. So he could be hanging in there. Let's say he could be hanging in there by his roots, very strong roots, not being easy to knock down because he is transitioning to a cleaner mindset or a clearer mindset, or he is transitioning to clarity, mental clarity. Could be that as well. Or if you look at this card, because it's got the mind's eye behind it, it could even be that he can't be knocked. You can't make him give up on what he is tethered to so strongly, like a tree, because he can see things that others cannot. His intuition. He knows what's meant for him. He knows, he can feel it. He lives it every day, whatever this connection or root system he is tethered to is. He lives with it and he knows. He knows what it means for him. And the other four cards, we have house. House can be family, or it can also be, as Gulf likes to call his work stuff, his work family. It can also be that. It can be like a second home at work. This card I also like to refer to sometimes as fandom. So this could be his fans as well. So we have that. And interesting, that's in the same line as the anchor in the tree. So that could very well mean that he has stability. His stability lies in the strength that he has with and from his fans, family, supportive social circle, supposedly. This card, Tower. So Tower usually points to corporate matters or legal matters. It can be anything from a lawyer down to buying tickets to travel somewhere. It could be anything like that. It can also point to isolation. As a tower, you might think of Rapunzel being alone in a tower, being all the way up the top here. It can point to isolation in that way as well, or feeling lonely. And tower, like the tree, it can also mean waiting, standing there for a long time, enduring a waiting period. So that can also mean that. Next card, Crossroads. A decision to make. He has a decision to make. So even just seeing that in the same line as the tower and the bird, what I said in my prediction, he's making a decision about transitioning with his possibly work. This could be contracts, this could be management, anything like that. So it could be about transitioning to or from that management. Could be about gaining more control for himself in the matter as well. And the last card is Bear. We had Bear. So what have we've only got, this is the only card. Well, it's kind of comforting to not see the coffin or the snake in this reading, actually. But Bear is still there. And it happens to be in the line of the letter. So that's interesting. Okay, so I'll put those cards up. Shall we go? Hang on, has it been half an hour? 10 more minutes, it'll be half an hour. Alright, I'll put the cards up and then we'll go have a look and see if the moon is half back again. Alright, so what can we've got the incense burner there. Stalk, Tower, Crossroads. Yeah, we're winning so far with these cards. Tree, house. Alright, now I'm going to have to, because we have anchor and ladder and bear, which are already used, so we need to get the other cards out for those. This is my other identical set. Oh, tied up. So what were the ones I said? Ladder, anchor, and bear. They're closer to the end. There's anchor. There's letter. And bear. There. bear was on the bottom. Hang on, where are we there? Letter after that. Anchor at the top. House next. Tree after that. Crossroads under that. Tower here. Stalk there. And incense burner there. Okay. There we go. See them all right, guys? Yep. Okay, now that only took me less than 5 minutes, so we still got 10 minutes. I might let's do the past or the early month line just for now. So because I don't think, because of the way my phone camera is, you'll be able to see if it's not more than halfway. So yeah, we'll wait. So anchor, tower, incense burner. Anchor, tower, incense burner. Pulling up the anchor, or gaining momentum for taking action regarding this tower, which, as I said earlier, could be management, could be government matters, could be legal matters, could be contracts, or could be isolations, or it could even be pulling up the anchor and gaining motivation or momentum to go on a bit of a spiritual cleanse. This, you could even, if you go to this lonely, or not lonely, isolation aspect, it could be like Mew here. Like, even though I said that Gulf is possibly further along in the spiritual and emotionally mature aspect, it could be that he still also has inner work to do, has some deep meditation to do to help him decide what's going to happen with this change, and what changes he needs to make in his life, in particular what he needs to clean out of his life, or clear away out of his mind even. So it could be that he's deciding to. Well, that could be either way actually with the anchor. It could either be his pulling up the anchor and gaining momentum to do this, to go into a bit of isolation, to kind of shut the world out for a while and go into some deep thinking, or he could be putting down the anchor to do this. He could be pausing. He could be pausing his work or his life in general to do this well-needed cleansing, spiritual cleansing sort of thing of, like I said, shutting the world out and really going deep within and deciding what's best for him, what changes need to be made moving forward, etc. Could be that. Only took me 5 minutes to say that. Alright, moving on to current or mid-month, we have house, stalk, bear. So if we go back to what I said about the house, can be family, literally family, blood relatives, or it can be his management, his work family, or his fans. So to me, with the stalk here, it means there's going to be some kind of change regarding one or all of these things that I just said. There's going to be a change. Now, if I remember, last month's reading had stalk and house. I think the stalk was here and the house was down there, possibly. So it was in a knighting situation rather than right next to each other, or it might have been even next to each other somewhere. I can't remember. I really can't remember, but I know that it was the two cards were connected, and the conclusion we came to last month was about that whatever this change is that is happening for pretty much everyone this year at some point, and seems to be happening conveniently for Mew and Gulf at a similar time, whatever this change is, it is going to be such a big change that it's going to affect everything. It's going to affect his family, his work family, his fans, his comfort zone, the house can also point to. It's going to affect everything. So because of that, the bear is there. So the bear could be many things. This change coming, Gulf could be aware of this change, and it could be overwhelming him a little bit about this change coming, because he doesn't know what it is yet, or what the outcome will be of this change that's coming. So he could be overwhelmed. This could also point to his management, or the people who have power over him, being a bit overbearing regarding something changing. Could even be overbearing about letting him do, as I said here, do what he needs to do for himself spiritually. They could be a bit iffy about him doing that, because it would mean that he would have to pause his work for a little while, supposedly. It could also be, what was the other? Protective. It could be that this change is coming, and it's going to affect everything in Gulf's life pretty much with this house. But in the end, he's going to be protective of what's his. No matter what this change is, he's going to be protective of what's his. It could also mean that he will be protected, like his family, his management, and his fans will protect him through this change. It could also be that. So there's a few different conclusions there for you. Still a few minutes yet. Moving on to future, or later in the month, we have tree, crossroads, letter. Growth or connection to a decision that has to be made. He's at a crossroads with something regarding this change, obviously, but we're focusing on this line. So connection or endurance on or being strong about a decision that he has to make regarding a contract, regarding a private conversation he's had with someone. Or one aspect I forgot to mention about this letter, news, regarding news coming out, how things will happen with news. So if we go back to Mew for a second, that could also be the hardship of news coming out, dealing with the press, dealing with the people jumping to conclusions of what's real and what's not, could be a big burden on him. Could also be that with that letter. And down here for Gulf, the letter can also be pointing to that sort of idea that he's a public figure. So while he likes to keep his life private, and he does a good job of it most of the time, things are going to be found out. News is going to slip, and he has to make a decision about that moving forward, with what he's connected to, his roots, what is going to be long lasting regarding how he decides to possibly reveal a truth. Now, there have been so many readings, not only mine, but other readings of other readers, pointing to a truth being revealed soon. A truth being revealed for Aquarius, a truth being revealed for Virgo, and a truth being revealed for Scorpio. Now, I don't think it's a coincidence that those three signs all have this truth being revealed aspect to them lately either. There's clearly something we don't know that is going to come out and possibly turn not just his world but everybody's world upside down a little bit, because it could be sudden, it could be shock, or it could just be very life-changing. So whatever this truth is that is connected to this big change, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how it's brought out, let's say. So that's interesting. Alright, let's go check the moon's position now before we move on. Wow. Still can't really see it. Hang on. The moon hasn't moved that much, has it? Nope. Nope, the moon really is. The moon really is incognito right now. Still. There's literally nothing I can show you guys. It's pitch black. No moon in sight. Oh well. We'll go out and check on it again later. How are we doing on Twitter here? Is this still live? Must be. Yes. Gosh, I hope I'll be able to save this after, because... Anyway. So where were we? Oh, we just did this one, didn't we? So now we'll go to horizontal. So what's on Gulf's mind this month? We have anchor, house, tree. What's on his mind this month? Ambitions about his life and the connection he has with it. That's how I would say it in a nutshell. That's what's on his mind. He's always got his family, both literal and work and fandom. He's always got his family in mind. So that's not very odd, not very surprising. He's, with that being in between the anchor and the house, it looks like he still feels very safe and secure in this home that he has in his life. What do you call it? This metaphorical home that he has in his life. This home that he has with his supportive community both stabilizes him and keeps him connected to his roots. So this could also point to like how humble Gulf is. He never forgets where he came from. He always shows love and respect to all his fans, no matter when or how they were introduced to him. And he's staying connected. He's staying that humble and connected to his roots in that way as well. Reality, tower, stalk, crossroads. Reality is either management or he himself. We'll say he himself with the isolation aspect. Needs to go through a change and make a decision, or change direction even. This could be change direction as well, moving forward. That's the reality. The reality is that whatever he's doing right now regarding his management or himself, his spiritual and emotional well-being, whatever he's doing right now needs to change. And it is going to change, and it's going to be a change that is going to be, you know, very effective. As I said earlier, it's going to affect everything pretty much in his life. and it's going to be based around the decision that he has to make of regarding which way he goes after this change. Then we come to hidden influences. Hidden influences about this change, why this change has to happen, in other words. We have incense burner, bear, letter. Now that's pretty straightforward, isn't it? That's like saying this change has to happen because Gulf is way overdue for a cleansing in his life. He needs to clean his life from overbearing things and people, or from overprotective things and people. Or this, bear can also mean strength, is another thing it can mean. So it could also be he needs to clean out his life and his mind so that he can be strong about, or strong and face the news, or the news, so that he can face the news. So it could be, this could literally be about facing the press when they ask about this change, whatever that change may be, whether it involves mewsuppasit or not. It could be about he needs to go within and find that spiritual growth to make him feel stronger and more confident to face the press about whatever this change is and whatever decision it is that he's making of change of direction, possibly. Yes, I think that's probably covered it pretty well. Teas, anchor, house, trees, stalk, bear. He's feeling pretty strong and secure with his stability and roots in his comfort zone, let's say. But there's a change coming and he's going to have to be strong. He's going to have to remain strong about it when this change comes. Going this way, incense burner, bear, letter, stalk, house. He needs to clear his mind or his life of something or someone and protect himself regarding some news coming out or some conversation that it has to be had, or some contract even that he is bound by, so that when this change happens he can still remain comfortable. Can look that way as well. Let's go this way first. Anchor, tower, incense burner, stalk, crossroads. So Gulf needs to either pause or gain momentum to make the transition towards this possibly spiritual growth meditation aspect. He needs to do this so that the change coming will help him make a successful decision of which way to go. Okay, and then this way, tree, crossroads, ladder, stalk, tower. While he has very strong roots and a very strong connection to what he loves and cares for, he does have a decision to make regarding some contract, some conversation, private conversation he's had, or some news coming out, or truth being told, that is going to change his life, and possibly his workplace, his management, or his inner self. Okay, so that's the T's. As for knighting, we have anchor and bear here. So again, he has to either pause or gain momentum to make this change for gaining strength, gaining confidence, or to make the move to cut people or something out of his life for his own good. Tree bear knighting. He has to remain strong with his roots and connection. He has to remain strong through this change or transition. What's next? Crossroads, anchor. So this pause or momentum that he has to happen is all tied to a decision that has to be made of which way he's going to go moving forward, which also is connected to some kind of a cleansing. So either letting go of a situation, removing something or someone from his life or his mind. I've already done that one, haven't I? Yes. What haven't I done yet? Tower and tree. So this growth and connection he has possibly with himself, if we go back to the idea of the isolation, or if you look at it as the management or the authority over him, could also be that he has to endure this until the change comes, or that he has to endure it regarding news that's going to come out, or if you look at it in another way, once things are revealed, once secrets are revealed about something about his past, let's say, in the future, he's going to have to remain strong and connected and endure whatever hardship comes from his from the people who think they have power over him, basically. And house and incense burner. Now this is interesting. House and incense burner. That means that possibly something or someone that he needs to clear out of his mind or life. Oh, look at that. How many people are watching right now? 111. If anybody's familiar with that number, it means I'm doing the right thing. Anyway, what was I saying? Yes, the person or the thing that he may have to clear out of his mind or life could be something very close to home. Could be something very close to home, something he's actually very passionate about, that he may have to make the more mature decision to leave or walk away from, possibly. And then it changed to 112. So there you go. Interesting. That aspect talked about with 111. Interesting. Maybe that means that I'm right on the dot with that one. And then we have house and letter. So this also means it's something close to him, something dear to him, something he's passionate about. Could be an aspect of work with this letter here, because it could be a contract. Could be he has to leave a contract. It could be that he has to leave management or something. It could be that one that he's been resistant. He's been what's the word? The one that fans want him to leave, but he hasn't made the move. That one. It could be about that. That, you know, he's really made his home there, but he needs to move on from that, possibly, in order to stay strong and connected to what is actually what's meant for him, his family, his fans, his stability. He may have to leave that for that reason. I think I've covered all the knights now. Yeah, so there you have it, guys. That's the monthly portrait for both mewsuppasit and gulfkanawut. I'm going to stop it there, and I'm going to see if this video is, you know, if I can even copy it and save it, etc. And then I'm going to start another video for our monthly check-in, which will be about MewGulf, where they are right now. Our last reading that I did for MewGulf, I think we might have caught them at a bad time, because Mew seemed to be his impulsive, emotional self a little bit there. But on the other hand, though, with the other couple, there was nothing positive really going on there to replace it anyway. So yeah, I think it might have just been a bad time, possibly in the middle of a tiff or something like that. Anyway, yeah, like I said, I will do that after this. So I'll leave it there. Hang on, the moon. Shall we go out one more time and check what the moon's doing? Hang on. Let's see if the moon has returned yet. Oh, wow. Looks a bit red now. Hang on, can I turn this around? It's there now, guys, look. Oh, I've lost it. Where'd it go? There it is. You see that, guys? My camera really doesn't do it justice, but yes, there it is. So the red comes after. Silly me, of course. How can you see red when it's black? So that's the red moon. That's the red moon. Wow. Amazing. And it's really starting to fade now. So that's going to get brighter and brighter, should do, because it's the second partial eclipse, which means the shadow is going to leave the moon entirely, doesn't it? So it's actually not going to fade. That's just going to keep getting brighter. Wow. So yeah, there was no sign of a moon when I came out last time. That's amazing. Suddenly it's there. Wow. The wonders of nature. Beautiful. And you know what? Being a Scorpio, somehow I do feel connected to this moon eclipse. It's why I felt so strong about capturing it. Not entirely, but like I have captured it in little bits. In fact, it's given me an idea. Maybe I should continue with the reading. Yeah, maybe I should continue with the reading. Because as the moon gets brighter, it's the Scorpio moon, and Gulf is Scorpio, so yeah, maybe we will. Maybe I will continue after all. Let's see. I'll take my chances that this video will be able to be salvaged afterwards, since you're all still here too. Yeah, let's do that. Alright, so I still haven't put these cards away. You know, oh, it's alright, they're up here. I was thinking I should take a photo, but I've got them up there, and that's going to stay there. So even if I can't salvage the video, I've got the cards, and I can do a reading based on that anyway. So it's okay. One way or another, I will get the monthly portrait spread shared. Same with the August one. You know, I am still working and editing that video. It's just, as I said in my last video, if you were there, it's just been very hard. Last month a lot of things happened for me personally, so it was a bit hard to balance my time. Anyway, alright, let's get on with the reading. So